Hello there, this is Yvonne from the Seaside Cottage. Just a little sample of some things to make, very simple things to make in this video, just for little presents and ideas for Christmas coming up pretty soon. So I hope you enjoy. I will be making a series of these little simple makes, just to give you some inspiration to get a bit creative and perhaps some little stocking fillers for you to put in your stockings at Christmas. Lots of op shop finds, lots of things to do with scraps. So I hope you enjoy this next little series of videos. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Seaside Cottage. At long last I'm home and back on board. I've had to film really late in the afternoon because we had some kind of jackhammering going on next door. But I thought I'd just switch the camera on and share with you a little project. I thought I'd do a series of quite small projects that, it's September and Christmas will be upon us in no time. And if we don't get our skates on and start doing our little projects for Christmas, then I always like to have a few little knickknacks for the stockings. Anyway, what I've got here is a lovely little bowl of rosebuds, some lavender. I can smell it. It smells beautiful, absolutely stunning. Bit of lavender there. A few cloves, which far too many I've got. We only need a few. Cloves are really good for putting in your little sachets to keep the bugs away. And some buttons, and that's what we'll start with. So I've started making this. This was a hexie. So we've all got probably stacks and stacks of this lace in our collections. And when I was down in Bathurst, I ended up with a whole lot of these little hexies. I thought, I watched the fabulous Susanna from Vintage Blend Studio, and she had made one of these to take to her ladies groups, much more decorative than this. But I thought these would be great as little stocking fillers. So I've got to the stage where I've just sewed a front and a back to the hexie, quite simply, quite a simple little thing to do. Put a little bow on it and a little button, and I'm about to sew it up and just realise there's a little small hole there, but that won't matter. We'll fix that in a minute. Now you could, if you wanted to, just do the hexie, but I've got all this sort of nylon type lace that I thought, so all I need to do now is pop, where are we, these little beautiful little buds they are, little rosebuds in here. Now you could get something to pour it in here, but these are quite big, so they're not going to cause any bother at all for me to pop in there. And there go all our little birds in the neighbourhood. It's all getting towards dusk, and they all come in for water. Got a little water thing out on the balcony for them. So just going to fill this up with some really lovely smelly rosebuds, and then I'll show you how I put it together. Oopsie. Now, the cloves can be a bit overpowering, but they do keep away spiders, apparently, according to the Mrs. Google. I don't know what Mr. Google has to say about it. Mrs. Google, it says that spiders, oh look, I had a spider in my shoe once, a nasty white-tailed spider, and oh gee, I spent months on antibiotics and couldn't walk, and it was not a nice experience. So I'm only going to put one clove in here because the cloves do have a very overwhelming smell. Oh, that smells lovely. I'm just going to pop a little bit of lavender in there. I'm going to make a mess doing this, but there's probably a better way, but get your fingers and get it in there. Oh yeah, the lavender smells absolutely glorious. And these actually came from a tea company, would you believe? I couldn't get lavender anywhere. I wish I could. And the only place up here in Brisbane that had it was a tea company. And it's organic and all the good things, so it's probably good lavender. little lavender buds, and it was the only place that I could find it. So I hope this is recording, because I'm going to pause in a minute and swing the camera around so you can see what I'm doing. I've got a new microphone that is cordless, because I had one connected to the camera, and I was as you do, pull the camera over and then knock everything that you're working on all over the shop. So yes, it was not. I thought, oh, I will invest in a bit of good kit if I'm going to do some more recording. So I hope you are all well and having an absolutely fabulous week. I think there's probably enough in there. Let me have a little sniff. Oh yes, that's lovely. And the other thing I really like these is to pop in with all your fabrics. You know, not only to have them hanging in your wardrobe, but you know, you can pop them in with your fabrics as well, and they just keep them really nice. So now I've filled it all and made a real nice mess here. Never mind, that doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is, I've actually, as I sewed it, which I will show you in a minute, I just thought I was nearly finishing this off. I'll just show you the finished one, and then you'll see what I mean, just in case I lose the light. And then I've left a little bit at top at the open at the top there, and all I have to do now is stitch along it. Also stitch up this small little hole that I've noticed, and I'm just going to do like an overcast stitch, really, I suppose it's called. And I've turned the seam in, and just do a tiny stitch and seal that off along the top there, so that the little bits don't come out. And then it's a perfectly good thing for hanging in your wardrobe or popping in your drawer. And the bits of ribbon are all op shop finds, including the little hexies. It's just a really nice little project, and one that you can do sitting in front of the telly. You could also even do these with, you know, your Suffolk puff maker, and instead of just run the thread through there, and then I'll tie it off, and that'll be good. Now, where was this tiny little hole that I saw? Oh, well, appears to have vanished. We'll address that at some later date. Just knot it off. I didn't make a particularly good job of doing that, but I'm in a bit of a rush. Not really. Nothing's a rush, is it? Gosh, the wind's come up outside a little bit, but we have had a glorious day. The evenings tend to be a little bit cold. So all that I have for this is just some little hexies that I had. So they're probably a piece of scrap material, really. Snip that off. That bit of sewing is a bit wonky, but never mind. You'll forgive me for it, won't you? I'm sure you will. Right, this little hole here. How did that happen? Well, we don't want all our stuffing to come out, so just give that a little stitch. Stitch in time saves 9, so they say. Here we go. And then I'll pause, make sure this new microphone's working quite well, and knot that off. Actually, that's where I joined the lace, so I'll run a little thread up there while I'm at it. And that worked out quite well. Now, you could use a bit of glue. You'll understand what I mean in a minute when I show you, if you wanted to. I'd use pins just because that's what I use. I'm not averse to being pricked by a pin. At the time I may be a bit annoyed with the pin, but anyway. There we go. Ah, there we go. All done. So there you go. You've got a lovely little hanging piece. It smells beautiful. And the other side of the hexie, don't mind my terrible little stitching at the top there. I just quickly did it so you could see. There you go. How cute is that? It's very cute. Now the other little thing, we'll get on to making that in a minute, is, for a nice little gift for somebody, is I've got this lovely little, just got to sew the button on the bottom of that, this little dish, which could be a soap dish in the bathroom as a little gift. It's marked made in Japan and has obviously been a hanging. There's a little slot here to hang it on. I'll sit back so half my head isn't chopped off. So yeah, that's a cute little thing. It's got a daffodil on it. And I found this little jug. It does have some kind of little stamp on the back of it. However, it's along here, if you run your hand along here, something has happened to the paint. It's like a crazy crack on the paint. So, and along the top here is pretty good, but there's there's been some rub with the paint as well. It has a lovely little rose on it, nice little transfer pattern. So something like that that's kind of seen better days. I wouldn't be adverse to putting a bit of glue on it. So all I've made is a little Suffolk puff there, of which I'm going to sew a button on the bottom, and I'll put a button there, and I'll sew this button on the button so that when you put, if you happen to put pins in it, they're not going to go through. And then this little, so if you ever see a little jug like this, and it's a little bit worse for the wear, well, then put my little Suffolk puff in there, which I will actually glue this one in the top there. You can see that like that. And then in the bathroom, if you ever, I don't know what happens to our little bathroom scissors, but they all go walkabout. And you don't put any glue, of course, where you're going to put the scissors down the spout. And then you have a little holder. And you've got a nice little gift there for Christmas, or anything really. Sometimes I just like to have little gifts in my entourage, just because they're just because little gifts. And you can just pop your little scissors in there, in the bathroom. You could have a little soaps, or even you could have, your little potpourri or whatever in the bathroom, and you can always find your bathroom scissors. I think in our household there might be a bathroom scissor thief. However, so that's another little idea for you, I'm trying to make a few videos of, just little simple makes that you can make as gifts to give at any time of the year, really. It doesn't have to be Christmas, but that would make a really nice little gift. They're all op shop finds. Mostly I find that these little dishes, they're really prevalent in the op shops. You can find them all the time. Probably once a week I pick those up. So yeah, so we've got all these. So the other little thing that I found, and to have in the bathroom, is this has no stamp on it or anything in it. It's quite cracked along the, well, not really cracked, it has a few chips in it, but it is a lovely little thing, and it's got little holes in here. It's for men shaving, and I quite often find these, and I've looked at them and thought, oh dear, what on earth am I going to do with that? But it's got a really nice little transfer on there of the garden. Yeah, so I don't know why it's not stamped on the bottom, but it's not at all. So it's obviously, probably not as old as what I thought it is. Apart from the chips, it's quite a nice thing. But what you can do with this is, and I'll just quickly show you, you can put some nice potpourri in here, your little smelly things, so your bathroom smells nice. And you can get some lovely flowers, pop them in the little holes at the top in your bathroom. This is just an example. These are some, I think they're hydrangea flowers, or meant to be. So you can pop some pretty little hydrangea flowers in the little holes in the top of here, like that. A little bit of greenery hanging over the edge there. I'm just sort of showing you how, and then fill this little part here, and there you have a lovely little gift. Fill that with your potpourri, or if you don't want to do that, you could just even pop some more flowers in there, like that. And that's kind of a lovely little gift for someone, isn't it? I've probably overdone the flowers, but you get the gist of it. And I find these little men's soap things quite often on my journeys. You know, if you wanted to gift it, I would put the little potpourri bits in perhaps one of these little things for jewellery and tie it in a nice little Christmassy thing, and put the potpourri and your lavender in that, and there you have a nice, and pop that in there. And what a lovely little gift that would be for someone, surely. Just some ideas for you. You know, if we don't start now with doing our little Christmas makes, it comes around so very quickly. So anyway, I'm going to pause the camera now, make sure that my new microphone is working, and show you how to make one of these little one of these. So much fun, and you get to use scrappy bits and use your imagination. Hello, I'm back again. Oh, so this is Teddy. This is a little op shop find, and inside Teddy is lots of things. Old Suffolk puffs and these lovely hexies. So, as you can see, I have quite a lot of them. But anyway, let us just make sure that yes, we are in focus and connected. I oftentimes have this up on the tally, and I find I'm looking at the tally and I should be looking into the camera. So you'll have to forgive me. I'll get no doubt better at this technology, but at the same time. So now what we can do is choose one of these lovely hexies. Quite like that one. That's quite nice. And somebody's turned it all over and made that one. That's just quite cute. Yeah, I quite like that. It's kind of got a bit of a Christmassy feel to it. That one also has some, oh, that's just nice colours in it, isn't it? Yeah, so not going to be too fussy. As you can see, I do have a lot. And then some of them are all different sizes. So now what we need to find is a back for those two. There's all sorts in here. Such a lovely selection. All op shop finds. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Gosh. Ooh. Well, if you chose those two, you could have them. Oh, I like that too. You could have that front and back, couldn't you? Really? Wouldn't matter which way you had it. Oh well. Perhaps a plainer. Don't think we've got any red. Maybe some green. Have we got a plain green? Oh, I'm fluffing here. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Look, a little spotty thing. That'll be fine for that one. We'll have the berries, which is sort of the Christmassy thing, isn't it? And then the little spotty one for the back. I think that'll be quite good. Now, one time I sewed this together and I didn't put the two right sides together. So we'll do that now so that I don't forget. And we need a back. I think that's kind of a Christmassy feel. So we need a backing for that. What have we got? Something plain. Oh, there we go. Look. Some little green hearts. Yeah. Maybe not something quite as see-through, I'm thinking. This is I usually do all this off screen because it's something that I really enjoy doing, is selecting fabrics and doing that sort of thing. But it does take me a while to make my mind up, so I don't want to put you through the torture of it. But today, well, I'm afraid you're going to have to put up with it. Me torturing you, that sounds good, doesn't it? Oh well. Yes, maybe. Quite like that for backing up. I want more of a solid colour. Do we have anything else that takes my fancy? Quite like that one too, with a little flower on it. Yeah. Okay, so we've got options, and we've got backs, and we've got fronts, which is good. This is such a wonderful selection. Okay, good-o. That'll do us. Now we might just pick. Oh, look at that. Oh gosh. Spoiled for choice, aren't we? Someone's taken such a lot of time in cutting all these up. I'm so grateful to have them. Goodness knows why they ended up in the op shop, but I'm grateful they did. Somebody's lovingly done all these. Oh, I quite like the plain. So we'll go with the plain. So in here is my box of, very messy box, of all sort of nylon ribbon that I've collected over time. And there is a lot of it that needs to be used. So I think probably that, I really would like to use some of that. Pretty pink colour here. How wide's that? That's actually a good. Yeah, that's pretty. That'll do. You know, if we can use up some of this. This I sort of would often come with some lovely other sorts of laces in an op shop find, where you get a mix of some really not, you know, good cotton laces, and this would be mixed, the nylon laces would be mixed in with it. But however, there's some lovely laces in there. There's some, sorry, I'm making a crinkly noise. You know, this in here is some pretty laces. They're nice as well. Probably not what I'd want for today, but yeah. You just never know when you get a mixed bag like that what might be in it. This strange little thing in there. Oh. Yeah. And then, you know, things like this, which would have been an old for $1. So I just keep them because I think, well, you might need a little bit of lace or something. Now, there are two ways that we can do this. We can use glue, which I didn't do last time. I used pins, but it might be advantageous to use some glue. And the reason I've got my table out here in the lounge rather than away in my craft space is because I was doing the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery and I needed a bit more space so I could see what I was doing on the TV. And oh gosh, you know, so it was more advantageous to film out here. I don't know whether it was advantageous for everyone else. Let's go with this one. There's a few more for me to make in front of the tally. Quite like that. I've got the, yes, we have. We've got the, so that you don't have to stitch it twice, which you can do if you wish. Let's have a look at our bit of trim here. And I find the beginning, yes, somebody's very kindly, look, you know, this is what they do in the op shop. Somebody once a week, the op shop I go to in Palm Beach. Cha-cha, in here now, please. Thank you. They put them, and they put the meterage, and they put them on little cards. They're just absolutely wonderful. They're all volunteers, these people. Oh yes, I think that will go rather well. So what you want to do really is to put your bit of lace, we're going to leave this top bit open, on the inside. So I had that pinned. And you want your lace to go that way. There we go. Alright, so that's the way it needs to be. Yes, that's correct. So what you can do if you want to is, and I've got this bit of thing here, is probably what we are going to do this time is put a bit of glue on it, because I pinned it and then I had to turn it inside out and there was a bit of a kerfuffle, not that it mattered, to get the, and this is just blue glue, it'll disappear. And this makes it quite easy to do, really, rather than the pins. The pins didn't particularly bother me, but yeah, so then you want the lace to all come this way. So probably, I haven't done the glue bit before, so you'll have to bear with me. I think it'd probably be easier just to go around the outside with a bit of glue. Here we go. That'll probably do the trick. It might even just help with these few fraying edges that I can see happening there as well. And the glue will just disappear. And this blue glue, I didn't believe it, but it does. It dries a clear colour. And it's going to make a little crease there. Oh, that's much easier than the pins, I'll have to tell you. Here we go. Crease that there as if you're doing, you know, like a normal hexy thing. Probably would have helped if I'd cut myself off a bit, but anyway, let's just go with it. Just make a little crease so you can get around the hexy corner. There, like that. Go in there. Behave. I hate getting glue on my fingers. I just don't like it at all. But anyway, sometimes you've just got to go with it, don't you? A little crease there. I want these to be pretty straight. Yeah. It doesn't want to behave. Put a bit more glue on it. Yeah, all right, well, that's got it. Okay. Just drag that out of the way. Am I still in the frame? Oh, I hope so. I've actually got this up on the TV, but I just banged my head on it. It's pretty close. A little bit of glue. Let's get gluing. Here we go. I'll probably chop some of this out so that, edit it so that you don't have to put up with me fiddling around here. But anyway, you know, it's all a process, isn't it? I can smell that lovely lavender. Okay. This all around your hexie. This just saves you sewing it twice. This is the reason I'm doing it this way. Otherwise you could sew it on if you wanted to. You can just sew it on and snip this off just along there. There you go. You can be super fussy or you can not be super fussy. I'm not being super fussy. Here we go. Put a bit more there. These little mats here are great. They're a Tim Holtz mat that he uses. I don't know what they're called actually. He uses them for doing his ink on, but I find them great for glue because you can just wipe them over. Alright, we've got our gluey bit done now. Alright, so there you go. We can get rid of our sticky mat, and somewhere here, I hate glue. I just don't like getting it on my fingers. It's yucky. And then you can't do anything else and you're sticking to everything. Right, so that's good. We've got all that done. Right. We'll take that away. Our sticky mat. You can just give these sticky mats, these little mats, a wipe. They're a really good thing to use, and you can use them with your watercolours and your ink and just mix things on them. Pop that out of my way. Alright, we've got clear. Now, did I thread a needle? If I was smart, I would have. I did. I'm having a lot of trouble lately with knots. Seems to be the bane of my life, knots. Now, we want the right sides together. Just actually, that's a bit of salvage there. I'm going to put that at the top there. There you go. And then you start leaving your gap open at the top so you can put your stuffing in. I watched Jennifer Clouston the other day, and she was doing putting together some a piece for a quilt block really quickly, and she just zipped along. I thought, oh my goodness, so fast. I thought, oh, so you're really just going to sew these like you would your Suffolk puff. So I'm slow. Jennifer zooped along this quilt block that she was doing. I couldn't believe how fast she was. I'm as slow as it. But you know what they say about the tortoise, it gets there in the end. So I'm the tortoise. I'm not saying that Jennifer's a hare, but certainly a hare compared to me. And as neat as Jennifer's as neat as the tortoise. So this is where I fouled up last time. I didn't quite, so you need to come in a bit, quite catch the corner of one of them. Just check the other side that you're actually caught that other hexie on the back of there. There you go, like you would your Suffolk puff. This table's rattling, and I think it might be my bangle that's dangling. Quite dark outside now, but anyway. I'll have a bit of fun with this and then go and make my dinner, I think. My poor dear dad, he got COVID while I was away. And anyway, they ended up having to take him to hospital, which wasn't real good. He was only in there just really for some fluids, because darn COVID, it knocks everybody around. It's a horrible thing. It really is a poor thing. And he'd gone off to exercise, not realising that he, wasn't particularly well. I think he was a bit dehydrated. Anyway, they pumped him full of some fluids and they've sent him back home, so that's good. I'll pop over and see how he's going tomorrow. Amazing what a good lot of fluids can do. I think the COVID just zaps you of everything, doesn't it? It's a nasty, nasty bug to get. So, what are we doing here? We've gone a bit out of whack. Here we go. That's a bit better. If I put my hands here on this little square in the middle, we might be in the frame. There we go again. Trying to catch. Just trying to make sure that I'm catching all the layers. So it's not a hard thing to do. No worse than a Suffolk puff, really. Now, where's the lace there? Oh yeah, it's there. It's a bit uneven, but oh well. You could whiz around here really quickly with a sewing machine. You really could, but I like to hand sew. So, you could make 10 of these quite easily with a sewing machine. But I like to sit in front of the tally and have a little mindless thing that you can do, and it's not hard. You can have it all glued down, ready to go, and sit in front of the tally and just stitch them. Here we are. And today was the first time I've been able to get down the beach. We've had, with that big blood moon, we've had what's called a blood moon. Seriously high tide, so I got down the beach with the dogs today. And oh my goodness, the erosion was right back to what it was after we had that cyclone in the summertime. So hopefully, I'm just going to do a little, just catching on the, underneath there on the lace. Just going to, on that corner, go back a stitch, just to make sure that's caught there. Here we go. That's gotcha. Yeah, so it's a bit sad, all the erosion on the beach. But I think it's a bit of a worldwide problem, beach erosion at the minute. I don't think it's just us, I think. Poor old, when we were in Vanuatu, lovely, lovely people over there, they really were. They'd had this terrible earthquake, and part of their port, they hadn't been able to reuse that because of the earthquake. And of course they're pretty much at sea level there. But anyway, I believe they are addressing the erosion. And we have the digger comes around and he digs our little accesses to the beach so we can get down there. Oh look, I'm back at the beginning already. Okay, I'm going to knot this corner here. Do a severe knot on that. Just back a little bit so I can tuck that under. There we go. And I'm going to leave the thread on there so I can sew the rest of it up once I've filled it. And we'll see what a mess I've made of this. Hopefully not. So I'll just leave the needle on there. This is the exciting part. Turn it around the right way. See if I've got any holes. See what it looks like. I should have put my poker over here to poke out the corners, but here we go. Yes, I do have a small little mishap there. Oh, you get that. I'll just tack it up later. Oh, I've got a few little mishaps. Oh, here we go. Oh, silly me. So what happens when you've glued it down is the lace gets stuck down like that. So you've just got to pull it off, because I stuck it down like that. So you just got to pull it off and straighten it out a bit. Now let's just make sure that I've got a blue light happening here. Yes, so it should be 2 blue lights. We're right. We've got sound. That's the main thing. Yeah, so, and then you can pull your bit of lace out. Yeah, I'd forgotten I'd stuck it down. I thought, oh, I've sewn it on differently, but I hadn't. So the other little thing before you sew up this little tab here is to pop. Now look, you know, you might not have a bit of ribbon in your stash, or you might not want to use your ribbon. You just use a little bit of burlap here, and you can pop that there, and that'd be quite nice, sort of a Christmassy look, wouldn't it, really? Pop that there and sew that on there. I think I quite like the gold ribbon, but let's see, what else have we got? Have we got a red one? We do, look at that. These are just, I always find little boxes, and you know, this is made in Japan. It's a little, well, some kind of wooden box. It's probably a couple of dollars, but I've got all these little ribbons in here, all shop finds. Nice little place to keep them. I know where they are. They're a nylon ribbon, made in China, but satin ribbon, you know, they're a good thing to use, and good to use up these things for your Christmas makes, or just to use just to be able to make something that's fun. Look at that, a bit of plastic, and it'll just stick to you. Go away, leave me alone. Let's have a look. Do we like the red? Oh, it's bright. Yeah, it's Christmassy, kind of. So what sort of length did we have here on this one? I should have measured it before, but you know, you never do you? You think about these things after. Just curl that around, make it a little bit longer. Okay. So what's that length? Let's have a look. We'll measure it now. Oh yeah. So probably 7 inches, I'd say, would be enough. And chop it off at a bit of an angle, like that. We'll angle the other end of it. Let's have a look. It's a double-sided satin ribbon, so you don't have to worry about which side it is. You know, you haven't got a side to worry about. So let's angle this little part up here. That's going to be plenty. And the other thing you can do, and I'm sure you've all got plenty of buttons. I've just got a little selection in here. So what did I put on that one? I put a little gold button on that one. I had to take the clothes away. I started to sneeze. So, you know, just be wary that the clothes are quite... well, that's a nice little button. A little bit of red in there. Little red apple on that one. That's cute. What else have we got? What's something a bit blingy to put on it? A little red button. You know, you have a little play with it. I feel as if I'd like something a bit Christmassy. Well, ooh, I've got a nice little silver button there. How does that look? Well, that's quite nice, isn't it? That nice little silver button. Another little button here. Even that little one was nice with the... No, let's just Christmas. Let's put a bit of bling on it. We always do with a bit of bling. We've got this little button there. That's a nice little button, isn't it? You see that one? Let me pop it in my hand and you can have a look at it. Yeah, there you go. We'll use that one. Or do I want the apple? The apple's super cute. Yeah, it doesn't sort of go with the background. It's a bit bright, but anyway. Okay, let's do this one. So we just want to attach this before we sew it up completely. So all I've done, because I'm at this corner here, I'm just going to run along to the middle. Don't catch them both though. Make sure you leave the back side out of the way. Sounds good, doesn't it? Leave your back side out of the way. It was not my intention. Just going to fold a little seam over there on this side. Don't be too particular. You can be as particular or as not as you like. You know, and so pop my needle back up through there. Just do a little neat as I can, which sometimes isn't very neat. Oh, little running stitch to the middle, like so. Let's see, have we got to the middle or thereabouts? Come on, here. One more stitch, I think will be in the middle. Fold it in half and then we'll, yeah, one more stitch. So what have you all been watching on TV? We've been watching the latest, it's called Magnolias. It's actually quite a pleasant story about a group of women in a city. And of course, we always like to watch a bit of a murder mystery. And there was the Tuesday Murder Club movies just come onto Netflix. Oh, that was a bit of fun. Got Helen Mirren in it. The guy from, it took me a while to realise who it was. The guy from, he used to be the devil in one of the shows. Pierce Brosnan in it. Oh, there's some great old actors in it, and it was quite a funny thing. Made me giggle. All right, so now we're just gonna, bit fiddly, but you don't have to put the button on. You could just sew a bit of ribbon on there, and that would be perfectly fine. I've got so many buttons. I thought, you know what? Split the ribbon open there a bit and poke a hole in there. There we go. Oh, something made a noise. I wonder what that was. I hope it's not a low battery on my phone. Might be. Something wasn't happy. Yeah, well, that's put me off me concentration. Oh well. We get back to where I put that stitch in. Once I've got this first one in, I'll be right. Don't poke yourself, Yvonne. That would not be a good idea. Alrighty. Okay. Little button. In fact, I should have sewn the ribbon on first. That would have been slightly easier. I think I did that with the last one. I sewed the ribbon on and then put the button on. Put a couple of stitches in the ribbon first. There's a tip for you. Oh, never mind. Get this done. And then, we're nearly there. This is a bit slippery, that mat. I'll just pop it out of the way. Here we go. Of course, it's caught on the bit of lace. And then you've got something to hang it up. You know, you don't have to put this little bit of ribbon on if you're just going to pop it in your drawer with your with all your fabrics. Well, you don't have to bother to put a ribbon on, do you, really? Okay. Not the back of the button. I think that's probably going to hold that there quite nicely. Just pop a knot in it. I like to knot everything. Everything gets knotted. Even if I don't do it on camera, usually later I'm thinking, oh, I didn't put a knot on that. Nice big one there. That's better. That's the better one. You can feel it's grabbed at the back of the button there. Alrighty. Okay. Here we go. That's good. Now, I'll leave that little bit of thread there so I can sew it up. It's pretty cute. It's cute. So let's just put some nice little buds in here. I'm going to get this needle out of my throat. I'm the devil with the needles, I tell you. There we go, we'll poke you there. There we go, we'll pop some nice little buds in there. They smell really nice. I'm not going to put a clove in here because that clove, much as I like it, was making me sneeze. So that's not going to happen. Right, just a few buds. You don't need too many of them. Just to give it a nice, you could even have sewn a little bud on there, couldn't you? As I stood up, one of the little buds ended up on the floor. Excuse me for reaching over. Right. I'm just using my fingers to put this in, and I'm sure my fingers are going to smell heavenly after all this. You don't need to, and lavender can be quite a pungent smell, so, and this is particularly pungent lavender. I don't know whether I would have liked to have drunk it as a tea, quite frankly, because you probably only just needed a smidgen. Here we go. Now the other thing that you could put in here if you wanted to is one of those little cedar things, a little wooden cedar thing, and that'll keep the bugs out if you're not a fan of cloves. Just going to fill that up a little bit more. Here we go. Now that will last a very long time. There we are. Right. So now all you have to do is, this bit of lace needs to come over this side. Oh no, it needs to be, where does that little, oh yeah, it just needs to be there. It needs to come over this way a little bit. When I sew it up, it's got caught in the seam. Yes, we are. We are going to make it. Yes, I did, I'll just try knotting that myself. Just chop that off and try knotting it. Yes, I wouldn't, next time I make one, I'll make it down the bottom there that it joins. Just going to chop that off and I'll get another bit of thread and run that along there. But there is the idea. So there you go. Another little one completed. Get rid of all this mess. There you are. There, that looks pretty good. Shift all these out of the way. And there you have a couple of really nice little gifts. It doesn't even have to be at Christmas, does it? It could be any time, really. Well, hooroo for now. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay safe, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week. Love to you all. Thanks for joining me.